right, this is still really scary for me, but that's okay, here goes. So today I wanted to talk about and share with you my first experience with depression. In order for you guys to understand where I'm coming from, I feel like I need to share what's happened to me before. So that you can get to know me, so that you can see what my past looks like, so that you can know the inside of my mind, what I think, how I feel, how I deal with depression, so that you will know how to help somebody when they have depression. So my first experience, I have memory of when I was a little kid having probably what was a little bit of depression. I don't specifically have memories of really feeling bad for myself, except for maybe like sitting on my front porch singing songs like, I'm so lonely, I don't have any friends and my mom is so rude. Like stupid stuff like that. That's the only memory I have. However, when I got pregnant, you always hear the stories about the ladies who were like, oh, I cry all the time, I just weep all the time. Commercials make me cry, that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, well, so this is normal. Because when I got pregnant, I immediately was sick, so sick. I would dry heave all the time. My family would make fun of me, like tease me in a loving way, because I just would walk through the house and be like, bleh. But I don't really know when the depression set in during my first pregnancy. I think it was probably pretty early on, but I remember all of that time through tears. I just feel like I cried as much as I breathed oxygen. I didn't realize how bad off it was. I remember the last little while just being a complete wreck. And in my mind, I blamed it all on what I was experiencing, how awful my body felt, how nauseous I was. My delivery was great, and that was like my one shining moment in the whole thing. But by the time I left the hospital, I knew I was not in a good frame of mind. So I just went home and was a wreck. My family came over at one point and had a meal. They brought all the food. They didn't make me do any of the work. My husband was awesome, stepped up and really took care of the baby. But I didn't want them over. And I looked for reasons to leave the room. I would sneak away and go to the bathroom if I had to. I couldn't wait if I could sneak away and go in the other room and nurse. I wanted so bad to be a good mom to my baby. And deep down inside, I knew I loved him. But I didn't have any energy or desire to take care of him. I remember glimpses of holding him and looking at him in his eyes and crying and saying, I love you. I want to be a good mom to you. I'm going to take care of you. But I think a lot of the tears that I was feeling was frustration, because I was thinking to myself, how is it possible? How could I possibly love this child and give him what he needed, because I didn't want to be alive? I wasn't suicidal in that I was looking for ways to end my own life, but I very much would have been thrilled to just no longer exist, to just not have to deal with it. My husband, I think, probably was very confused. I did have one friend who said, hey, how are your emotions? And I was like, great. Why? That's a funny question. I just was like trying to play it off like no big deal. And she was like, oh, because I had a lot of depression after I had my kids, and she kind of told me a little bit about her experience. And she was somebody that I looked up to. I loved her. And to hear those words out of her mouth meant the world to me, because I was like, she's not a crazy person. Like, look at her. She's this amazing, incredible person. And she's had depression. Maybe I'm really not insane like I was convincing myself that I was. So then, I mean, the idea was kind of coming into my mind where I'm like, maybe I really do have true depression. Maybe this experience that I'm having is not normal. I'm pretty tight with a lot of my cousins. So I went to, I think it was like her bridal shower, I don't remember, but I went to her shower, and me and my little baby came in, and he was in his car seat and just teeny tiny thing, and my aunts and my grandma and my cousins, a lot of them were seeing him for the first time. So I walk in the door, I had a coat on or a jacket or something, and I had my keys in my pocket, and he was in the car seat, and they immediately rush over and they're like, oh my gosh, let me see him. And they pick him up, and somebody was holding him, and I remember thinking to myself, my keys are in my pocket, I can look out the window, I can see my car out on the driveway, they're taking care of my baby, these people who I love and would be the next people in line if I couldn't be a mother. And I was like, this is perfect. I could just drive away and never come back and leave this life that I'm sure some people probably from the outside looking in thought was like this perfect life. And then I just had this moment where I was like, did I really just think that? Why would I leave my baby and my family and my husband and just drive away? These are not healthy thoughts. I had a lot of other unhealthy thoughts that I will share with you. That wasn't the only one, but that was my first real moment where I was like, something needs to be done. I can't just continue living this way with these thoughts. I think it's not normal, and I think I need help. I'm really excited to share all of my insides. Whew. You guys have to know from the beginning, I'm an emotional person, and I will probably, especially a topic like this, will probably be very raw. I really am excited to share my experiences with you, to let you see my insides and all that I've been through, so that you can help yourself or your loved ones, whoever's going through depression. I want that. Okay. More than the topic of depression, this makes me emotional. I want to help people. I really, really feel like God is speaking to me sometimes and saying, one of the reasons, Melissa, that you have gone through depression is because you're willing to share. I'm not afraid to talk. Maybe I'm one of those like TMI people where people are like, that's too much information, but I feel like God has given me the personality that He has, that I'm willing to share my experiences as well as having depression, because these things need to be talked about. I want so much to help people who have suffered from depression. I want to share my story in hopes that in some way my depression can be a help to somebody else who is experiencing depression. That is my sole purpose in this blog, and I'm excited to get to know you better and to share myself. Thank you.